European power in India, and that is the Dutch power. So in this lesson we are going to study about the Dutch East India Company. So we will study about the advent of Dutch, then the Dutch settlements in India, then we will study about the Dutch trade, then Dutch expansion, the expansion of Dutch power in India, then the decline of Dutch. Okay, so let's start with this advent of Dutch power in India. Okay, so with a view to get direct access to the spice markets in Southeast Asia, the Dutch undertook several voyages from 1596. Now, one thing important to remember here is the Dutch were especially interested in the spice markets, and that too in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia was very important for them for the trade in spices. So the main target of Dutch people was not India, but mainly they were focused on Southeast Asia. So for this purpose they formed the Dutch East India Company. Okay, or Waringde Oost-Indische companies. It was the same company, the different name. So you don't need to remember this one, but merely remembering the name Dutch East India Company is fine for us. Okay, and it was formed in 1602. Then it was granted an exclusive right to trade with India and East Indies, and vested with powers of attack and conquest by the state. So in this way the Dutch East India Company was established and it became a powerful. So this was the headquarter of Dutch East India Company at Amsterdam. Dutch means Netherlands. Okay, so remember. So the Dutch first came to the islands of Sumatra, Java and the Spice Islands. So here you can see Sumatra, Java, and here are the Spice Islands somewhere. Okay, so these were the first targets of Dutch, and they were attracted by the lucrative trade in pepper and spices. So as we have seen that Dutch people were mainly interested in spices, remember this thing, and mainly in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia. So what brought them to India? So we have seen that first they went to Java and Sumatra Islands and the Spice Islands, but what brought them to India? So what brought them to India in the first instance was rather the requirements of the archipelago than of the European markets. So what does this mean? This means that the requirement of archipelago, that archipelago means the group of small islands, group of small islands. Okay, so this means archipelago. So this the requirement of this group of small islands, whatever things were required, the Dutch people decided that we will import these things from India, and we will trade our spices in India. So the spices of the archipelago were exchanged for cotton goods from Gujarat and Coromandel coast. Okay, so in this way here you can see the trade started with India, the Dutch trade. Here the Dutch were staying here in the Sumatra and Java islands, and from this place they traded with India. They brought the spices from this archipelago, they brought the spices to India, and from here they took away the cotton goods with them, and other commodities exported by the Dutch were indigo, saltpeter and Bengal raw silk. So a new trade started with India, and that is bring the spices from Southeast Asia and take away the goods, the cotton goods from India. So in this way Dutch people started trade. So in 1605 Admiral van der Hagen established a Dutch factory at Masulipatanam, and another factory was founded at Pettapoli, Nizampatnam, and Devapattinam, that is Tegnapatnam, called Fort St. David under the British. So later its name was changed. Then in 1610, upon negotiating with the king of Chandragiri, the Dutch were permitted to found another factory at Pulicat, which was fortified and named as Fort Geldria. So this is the layout plan of Fort Geldria near Chennai. Here is Admiral van der Hagen. So the Dutch trade, what was the Dutch trade in India? So the credit for making Indian textiles, the premier export from India goes to the Dutch, because we have seen that Dutch people were bringing spices from the Southeast Asian islands. The Southeast Asian island countries, they were bringing spices in India, and with them they were taking a cotton to the Southeast Asian island and also to the Europe. Okay, so this is India, this is the Southeast Asian islands. From here they are bringing spices, then they are taking cotton to Europe as well as the Southeast Asian islands. So in this way the Dutch were the people who made the Indian textiles famous in the European market. So textiles woven according to the special patterns sent from Bentham and Batavia constituted the chief export of the Coromandel ports, and indigo was exported from Masulipatanam. So for dyeing purpose, indigo was exported from Masulipatanam. So here is the indigo dye for coloring the clothes. So indigo was also an important thing which was exported from India. And here you can see the indigo production site in Masulipatanam. So apart from spice, the chief articles of import to the Coromandel were pepper and sandalwood, and from the archipelago, okay, and the textiles from China and copper from Japan. So these were the goods which were imported and exported by the Dutch people. So in 1617 the chief of Pulicat became the governor, and Pulicat was the headquarters of Dutch in India below the Governor General in Batavia. So Batavia was the place in Southeast Asia where there was the base of the Dutch. So in Batavia there was Governor General, and the governor was in Pulicat in India. So this governor was deputy of the Governor General, and this governor was in India, and Governor General was in Batavia, not in India. Okay, and Pulicat was the main headquarter. So remember this thing, this may be a question. Pulicat was the center of power of Dutch people in India. So Negapattam on the Tanjore coast, acquired from the Portuguese in 1659, superseded Pulicat as the seat of governor and as the strategic center of the Coromandel in 1689. So again from Pulicat, Negapattam on Tanjore, okay, on the near Tanjore coast, Negapattam became the seat of governor. Earlier that was Pulicat. Later on the seat of governor changed, where the governor was living. The seat of governor changed and it was Negapattinam later on, and the center of power was shifted from Pulicat to Negapattam. Okay. So in 1616 Peter van der Broeke got the got from the governor the permission to erect a factory at Surat, and the Directorate of Surat proved to be one of the most profitable establishment of the Dutch. So factories were organized at Bharuch, Bombay, Ahmedabad, Agra and Burhanpur, and the Dutch practically maintained a monopoly of the spice trade in East throughout the 17th century. So Dutch naval power was very powerful, and they maintained a monopoly, so they did not wanted anyone to compete with them in the trade of spices. So they were very particular about the spice trade, spices actually, spices traded by Dutch. So the spices, the trade in spices was very important for them, and they virtually maintained a monopoly of spices. So the Dutch rivalry with the English during the 17th century was more bitter than that of the Portuguese. So we have seen that there was the rivalry between Portuguese and English for the territory in India and for the trade in India. Portuguese also did not wanted any competitor in the trade, and similarly the Dutch also did not wanted any competitor in the trade, but English were very clever people, and they managed. So by the beginning of the 18th century, the Dutch power in India began to decline because they faced a stiff resistance from English people, that is English East India Company, and their final collapse came with their defeat by the English in the Battle of Bedara in 1759. Now this is very important, the Battle of Vedara. Now this question has been there in various exams. That is, the Battle of Bedara was fought between which powers? And that is English and Dutch. Okay. The Battle of Bedara was fought between English East India Company and Dutch East India Company, and in which the Dutch East India Company was defeated. Remember this. And by this Battle of Bedara, the Dutch power in India declined. Okay, so the expulsion of the Dutch from their positions in India by the British came in 1795. So in this way, slowly and steadily, Dutch people lost their power in India, and there was one power, and that is English East India Company, who got the monopoly to trade in India and establish the power in India. And slowly and steadily, India became their colony. So here you can see the Battle of Petara, which was fought between the Dutch people and English East India Company. Okay, so this is all about the European powers in India, the advent of Europeans in India. So in our next lesson, we are going to study about the Carnatic Wars, which were fought between mainly between the French and the English. So in our next lesson, we are going to study about the Carnatic Wars. So stay tuned.